I'm honored to have been invited to this program. First of all, I want to thank Alliance for CancerCare Equity for organizing this program. Cancer is a disease with many tentacles. It goes beyond the sick body, and programs such as this helps to give us the knowledge to prevent it or fight it. My journey began with a minor throat irritation, which I thought it was an infection with some antibiotics it should fizzle off, but it turned out to be cancer. I was crushed and felt I had been condemned to death. I was consumed with so much fear, and I actually thought I was going to die because everyone I had known who had been diagnosed with cancer died, including my mother-in-law who passed 2 years before my diagnosis. It took a while for my family to accept it, and when we finally accepted and I began treatment, the family savings got depleted before I could even take the second phase of treatment, which is radiotherapy. Before I could even be scheduled for the radiotherapy, there was a second blow, um, which was I found out that the radiotherapy machine at the only functioning government hospital which offered affordability had broken down. I was crushed further. I was desperate at this point. I went online to seek for a sponsor. It's at that point that I came into contact with Alliance for Cancer Care Equity. My oncologist thought it was too good to be true, but after a week of submitting all required documentation, I received funding and started radiotherapy. I am so grateful for the agency with which ACCE attached to my case. Cancer broke me in many ways. But I faced stigmatization. I went through depression. My entire family were crushed because aside fighting the disease, it's as if poverty was creeping in when at the time we were so comfortable financially before, but while dealing with this disease, everything was gone. But today I live, and my family and I have become a testament of hope in our community. I share this story today because I know someone needs to hear, so they will also fight to survive. I've become very intentional about advocacy because there's a need to promote screening and there's a need to advocate for organizations like Alliance for Cancer Care Equity to get the needed funding to support underprivileged people and people who may not have the money at the time cancer sets in, because cancer gives no warning. Surviving cancer taught me that life can bring us to our knees without warning, and no one rises alone. This is why we must be a shoulder for one another so that no one is left to face the storm alone. Thank you.
This was a very big blow. And this is how the journey began. So in November 2022, I noticed some sort of brownish nipple discharge. And my first instinct was it's probably a gynecological issue because I had not paid attention so much to messages on breast cancer symptoms and all of that because I thought it was so far from me. So I got in touch with a gynecologist whom I knew, and explain what was happening. So he asked a couple of questions, whether there was a lump, whether the breast had changed, or any other symptoms. And to those questions, the answer was no. It was just the discharge. So he was like, okay, Rukmini, what I'm going to do is I'll put you on some antibiotics for a couple of days. Give me feedback after that. So he prescribed the antibiotics and I went to get them. So after taking the antibiotics for 5 days, the discharge stopped. So I got back to him so excited that I felt there was no need to worry. So like, hey doc, it's better, it stopped. So he was like, okay, but Rukmini, pay attention to your breast and make sure you report any abnormality you see. I was like, okay, but in my heart, I was like, hooray, it's nothing. So fast forward in 2024, July, I saw the nipple discharge again. And this time I was cooking in the kitchen, saw some spots, and I was trying to convince myself that, oh no, it's just the oil or stains from what I was doing. But my conscience would not let me be. So I went to change my dress into a cleaner dress. And within 30 minutes, I saw the discharge again. So I realized that this time I cannot run from this. So I got in touch with him again with the hope that he would say, hey, let's go back for the antibiotics. But this time around, he was like, no, because at that point, I now started feeling a lump. So he was like, Rukmini, go to the hospital and go to the surgical unit. Let them examine you. That is where the journey began. So I went to the nearest hospital and they examined me, made me do my scans. Eventually, I had to do a biopsy and it confirmed breast cancer. I was broken. That was not the news I wanted to hear, especially being a person of faith. I felt this disappointment. My husband was equally broken because we didn't expect this. And usually, what the statistics show us is that after 40 is when we have to be careful. We have to monitor our breasts. So I thought at age 31, I didn't need to worry about breast cancer. But this happened. So my mind goes back. Yes. So that was what happened. And I couldn't take it at that point. But I still decided to pull through. And on this note, I would want to thank Alliance for CancerCare Equity for organizing such a program to create awareness and a space where people like us can share our stories because other people need to hear of this. What got me going through my cancer journey was the love that the people around me showed. That was my strength. My family, the support from my husband, most especially my mom, my dad, my brothers. It was massive. And then again, the support from the healthcare providers. My surgeon was one of the best I could ever get. He looked at me and was like, Rukmini, yours is DCIS, which means it was localized and had not invaded. You are blessed. He always encouraged me and would let me ask all the questions in the world. These were my support systems through the journey. Breast cancer has a way of making you feel as if something has been taken from you, most especially when you have to go through surgery. If it's a mastectomy, you might have to lose your breast. If it's a lumpectomy, you might have to still lose a greater portion of your breast. Mine was a lumpectomy, but it still gave me small breasts. It makes you feel like something has been taken from you. So at that point, the support system is what will hold you. And that is what helped me in my case. Cancer in general is not an individual fight because it has effects on the community as a whole. When we lose lives to cancer, it's not just a family that mourns, it's a whole community because we have lost a resource to the betterment of our society. So, breast cancer and cancer in general is a fight that we all come together because no one knows who will be affected next. So, in my journey, one of the major constraints I faced after going through surgery was financial challenges because it was at a time where I wasn't working and I was eagerly looking for a job, and this came through. So, we had to scrap all our savings to do tests, to perform surgery. So at the point when I had to go and do radiotherapy, I was empty. I had asked people for money. I just felt empty and tired. And that is where Alliance for Cancer Care Equity came in. They gave me that hope. They made me understand that my life was too precious. And they were willing to help me pay the rest of my treatment costs and even radiotherapy, which is one of the most important treatments in Ghana. That act of kindness from Alliance for Cancer Care Equity made me understand that if they are not giving up on me, why then should I give up on myself? That is where I found hope and resilience because the journey was both downsides and a side where resilience came in. And this cancer care supports from Alliance for Cancer Care Equity is what brought out the best in me. Cancer is not the end of life. That is what I have learned. I am living life beautifully. I am volunteering for Alliance for Cancer Care Equity. I am a champion of early detection, screening. It has brought out a purpose in me that I never knew existed. I always say that if someone should have breast cancer, then it should be my type, whereby it was stage 0. That is what we all aim for: early detection and early screening as well. So that's my story. And I want you to know that there's life after cancer. You see me smiling today. Yes, but I have gone through a bitter moment. But today I'm here. So if you're going through a cancer treatment or you've had a cancer diagnosis, just know that it is never the end and you'll be smiling like me. Thank you.